Hello, Dr. Power Capote. It's Eric Matlock. I don't do selfies, so I may not actually be within the screen, but I think I already told you you've got like the coolest name on the planet, and even though you told me it wasn't necessary, I wanted to take some video to send to you. This will be the first part of a two-part series to further instill your appreciation and towards legally designating my big beautiful boy King Naiche, who is right here in front of the screen, and to show you first and foremost, wanted to show you my chicken coop and everything that is entailed with it, and how long it took me to build it, the amount of money, as well as their outside enclosure, so on and so forth. So, let's see, that's Satay, named after chicken sauce. That's Fancy Feet. She lays olive-colored eggs, and Satay lays mint blue eggs. That's Losa. Losa is the black queen. She is the number one hen. She lays dark brown eggs, and she is actually, funny enough, the least friendly. And then we have Zwarte Koper. She is a Dutch breed. She is a black and copper color. She has a bare spot on her back from Naiche mounting her. But being a Dutch breed and her being black and copper, we named her Zwarte Koper, which is Dutch for black and copper. Let's see. I believe that's everybody. So, my chicken coop, as to the immense amount of research that I did with how much space a chicken needs with which to live in and free range, was only stipulated as to 4 square feet, which I found totally and completely absurd and ridiculous and quite disgusting, in all honesty. I actually made the whole entire chicken coop over 5 square feet per chicken. It's fully insulated, 4-inch thick, wall to wall, has automated heating set to specific temperatures to maintain the comfort of my feather babies, as well as automated lighting set to specific times in the late morning, late evening, so on and so forth. Along with, I used, yes, Naiche, you show off. And I use the most expensive hay, which is typically used for high-end horses or thoroughbreds, and the first time that I ever bought it from Ellen Boss down the road, and I told him I was going to be using it for my chickens to shit on, he looked at me like I was half nuts. But my feather babies only deserve the best. So along with all of the insulation, I typically lay out about 4 to 5 inch thick of the incredibly high-end and expensive hay. I built 6 nests so that every hen would have their own nesting spots, but funny enough, they only use 2 of them, which is fine. I also give them carbon filtered dechlorinated, defluoridated, UV treated water, which I also add a couple of tablespoons of organic apple cider vinegar with Mother, and of course organic chicken pellets for their daily at-will feed. And I also give them organic oyster shells and organic layer grit. Yes, Naiche, are you saying hello, my big beautiful boy? And on top of that, I also finely chop, which takes about... Yes, Naiche, we hear you. Which takes about 2 hours per day to chop up all of their veggies in a very fine fashion, because if it's in big chunks, they don't eat it. And I also ferment their food. So every other day, they get their organic food fermented. Yes, Naiche, we know. So I mix their food in with the filtered water, and I stir it 3 times a day. And after about 4 days, it's fully fermented. It's extremely healthy for their digestive system. And then on top of that, yes, Naiche, we hear you. And then on top of that, I also feed them their grubs, which are the dried mealworms, for additional protein. So this is... Yes, Naiche, we know. So, I mean, this is just, it's massive. It's 8 foot long, 4 foot wide, 4.5 foot tall, has industrial strength wheels on the posts. I spent an average of about 3 hours a day, at least 5, if not 6 days a week, or 7. Yes, Naiche, we know. In order to build it, and it took me about 5 weeks to build the whole thing, to the tune of about $1,600. And again, automated heating and lighting. This is their outside enclosure. They stay inside in the coop and in the shop, which is all fully insulated, no nuisance to anybody. This is their outside enclosure. It's approximately 534 square feet. So obviously they've got plenty of room to roam around and frolic. These are their dirt bath sections, which are completely wet right now as we had a downpour yesterday. And then of course I set up a very thorough playground area for them to jump up on, run around on, stand on, which, yes, Naiche, which they quite often like to do. I typically put them out in the spring and summer between 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 p.m. in the evening. In the fall and winter, as it gets darker earlier, I put them out at about 11 a.m. and put them in by about 4:35 p.m. So I also, even beyond that, have their dust bath, their clean dust bath, I should say, rather than the dirt bath, which I mix sterilized kid-safe sand and also white ash from our fireplace, which obviously is also sterilized, and sift it through this colander. Yes, Naiche, we know. so that they don't eat or swallow any small pieces of charcoal briquettes. And I mix it up and freshen it up every day and put it out for them so that they have a sterilized dust bath with which to clean themselves. And I think that's about it for part one. Let's see. Is there anything else I can tell you? So what I'm going to do is, because I'm just got about an hour before I put them to bed, so I just wanted to show you the extreme amount of measure that I go through to care for them on a daily basis, which on an easy day takes me at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours. On a heavy day, cutting up all of their organic veggies and having them out for the day, cleaning the coop, takes me about 3 hours. And then watching them frolic and play about and climb on their playground area and so on and so forth, as my uncle so eloquently stipulates, to care for nature and animals is to feed the human soul. And they most definitely do that for me.